Hello, friendship family. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Austin Slater, and we're going to just explore two enriching practices that can really deepen our prayer lives, especially as we've been going through this series on prayer. I'm going to talk a little bit about praying through a rosary and prayers of the Ignatian Examen. Although these practices do have roots in traditions that we might not be as familiar with as members of the CRC, there's plenty here for us to adapt and make our own. I actually myself practice both of these regularly, and they have honestly served as a really humbling and enriching element of my prayer life. I can't speak highly enough about them. So with that, let's dive in. To start, I'd really like to talk about praying through a rosary. Now, traditionally, the rosary is a prayer method that uses a string of beads, and you run them through your fingers as you go. It guides a meditation on the life of Christ, traditionally from his birth and ministry to his suffering, to his death, and to his resurrection. Now, I know some of us might feel a little hesitant to use a rosary at first. If your upbringing was anything like mine, your knowledge of the rosary may have simply extended to that's a thing Catholics do, and that's about it. But this is really a good tool. At its core, the rosary is a tool to focus our meditations and prayers on Christ. It's easily something that can be adapted and is something that I honestly really encourage you to use and to adapt. You can use traditional prayers, you can use scripture verses, you can use the Lord's Prayer. But the goal really is just to create a sacred space in your mind where you can quiet the noise of daily life and focus on prayer, focusing on encountering God in very personal ways often. The beauty of this practice really does lie in its rhythm and in its repetition. You can use any short prayer, but for me, I use a variation of the Jesus prayer. And so simply as I go through my rosary, each bead by bead by bead, I'll pray, Jesus, Son of the living God, have mercy on me. May my life be a reflection of your mercy, sacrifice, and love. And then I move to the next bead. And then the next beat, and then the next beat. And it really just helps cultivate a humility and intentionality with my life. And as I go through the day, I'm constantly reminded of those things. And I'm reminded who I serve, my need for mercy and grace, and my calling to live like Jesus in everything I do. Moving on now to another prayer practice that I would really like to encourage you to adapt. Let's talk about the Ignatian Examen. Prayers of Examen, and specifically this one, was developed by St. Ignatius of Loyola in 1522. The Examen is a method of prayerful self-reflection, a way to really look back over the day with honest gratitude and gentle self-examination. Here's a simple way to practice it, and it breaks it down into sections here. First, we begin with gratitude. You take a moment to thank God for the day's blessings, no matter how big or small they may be. This really shifts our focus to God's presence throughout our day. And then the second, we'll reflect on the events of the day again and ask, where did I feel most connected to God? When did I sense his presence or his guidance or his love? Sometimes it's in the moments of quiet joy, and other times it's really in the challenges that we face. The third thing you do is notice your feelings. As we're reviewing, as we're praying, pay attention to your emotions. Ask yourself what these feelings might be telling you about your relationship with God, your relationship with your neighbor. This is a time for gentle honesty, not judgment. And this is a time to ask God, Lord, open my eyes so that I can see. Then you move to a period of confession and forgiveness. If you do recognize moments where you fell short, invite God's grace. Ask God, Lord, forgive me, have mercy on me. Jesus Christ, Son of the living God, have mercy on me, a sinner, to go back to that Jesus prayer. Confess those moments of failure and shortfalling and accept God's forgiveness, knowing that every new day is an opportunity for growth. And then finally, towards the end of this period of meditation and prayer, set an intention. Decide on one thing you'd like to do differently or embrace more fully tomorrow. This could be everything from a commitment to listen more deeply, or to acting with more compassion, or simply being more present in each moment with yourself, with your family, and with God. For both the rosary and the prayers of Examen, the common thread is intentionality. These prayers remind us to slow down, to notice God in the ordinary things of our lives, and to allow prayer to become a transformative, daily, habitual part of our lives. In our busy world, carving out even a few moments for these practices can make a profound difference. Whether you choose to work through a string of beads in the morning or take a reflective pause at the end of your day with the prayers of examine, you're inviting God into the daily rhythm of your life. I really do encourage you, experiment with these practices. Adapt them to your own style and your own needs, and let them be a tool to help guide you into a deeper, more intentional experience of prayer and community with Christ. Because remember, prayer isn't about rigid formulas and doing things exactly this way. It's about building this relationship, about strengthening and deepening our relationship, our daily relationship with the Creator of everything. Thank you for listening, and I hope that these are helpful tools. May your journeys this week be filled with peace and grace and love and service for everyone around you in your community. I'm looking forward to growing with you more in the next few weeks. Go with peace, dear friends.